Have you ever stood before a sight that leaves your mind completely blank, leaving only a sense of overwhelming awe at the sheer majesty of Mother Nature? That is precisely the feeling as your boat glides into the caldera of Santorini. From a distance, the island emerges like a colossal layered cake, topped with a thick frosting of snow-white houses perched upon dark, somber volcanic cliffs. But this is no sweet dream. It is a miracle forged in the fires of absolute destruction. Santorini, also known as Fira, lies in the southern Aegean Sea, part of Greece's Cyclades archipelago. From a satellite view, the island takes the shape of a crescent moon, cradling smaller islets at its center. How could nature create such a perfect form? The answer lies thousands of years in the past, when a cataclysmic volcanic explosion tore the heart out of the island. Leaving behind a massive crater submerged deep beneath the ocean floor. Approaching Santorini through a 4K lens, we are not merely searching for vibrant Instagram check-ins. We are searching for the echoes of history. Can you hear the wind whistling through the narrow alleys of Oya? Or feel the latent heat rising from the earth of Nea Kameni? Santorini is a symphony of contradictions, the pristine white of lime against the pitch black of volcanic rock. The translucent blue of church domes against the fiery red of limestone cliffs. The opulence of five-star resorts against the raw, rugged simplicity of forgotten ancient villages. Santorini is a fragment of the Greek soul, where every step is a brush with legend, and every breath carries the salt of a civilization once so radiant it commanded the world's reverence. On this journey, we will not rush. We will slow down time, embracing the local philosophy of siga siga, slowly, slowly. Are you ready to turn the pages of Santorini's volcanic history with me? To understand the beauty of Santorini today, we must travel back to approximately 1600 BC. Imagine a lush, circular island known as Kalista, meaning the most beautiful, at the peak of its prosperity. Then, the earth began to tremble. One of the largest volcanic eruptions in human history. The Minoan eruption took place. A colossal column of ash reaching 30 kilometers into the sky blotted out the sun, plunging the Mediterranean into darkness. The force of the explosion was equivalent to hundreds of atomic bombs, generating tsunamis as high as 150 meters that battered neighboring coastlines, including Crete, effectively ending the glorious Minoan civilization. When the fury finally subsided, the center of the island had collapsed into the sea, creating the volcanic caldera we see today. This earth-shattering event gave birth to a theory that has captivated explorers for centuries. Could Santorini be Atlantis, the lost continent mentioned by the philosopher Plato in his works Timaeus and Critias? Plato described Atlantis as a kingdom made of concentric circles of land and water, with buildings constructed from red, black, and white stones, the three primary colors found across the cliffs of Santorini. The uncanny similarity between Plato's descriptions and Santorini's geological composition has led many to believe that the legendary kingdom never truly vanished. It simply lies dormant beneath the deep blue waters of the caldera, waiting for the day its story might finally be told. Standing atop a 300-meter cliff looking down, the sea appears hauntingly still. But beneath that stillness lie layers of historical sediment, the treasures of a golden age buried in the blink of an eye. Santorini is not just an island. It is a living geological museum where every layer of rock tells a story of rebirth from the ashes. Not far south of the capital, Fira, lies Akrotiri, one of the world's most significant archaeological sites. While Italy's Pompeii is famous for victims frozen in ash, Akrotiri astounds for a different reason: the complete absence of human remains. Archaeologists believe the ancient inhabitants were incredibly wise. They recognized the volcanic warning signs and evacuated in time, taking their most precious belongings with them. What they left behind was a city frozen in time, perfectly preserved beneath meters of volcanic ash for over 3,500 years. Walking through the ruins of Akrotiri today, you cannot help but be stunned by the architectural sophistication of the Minoans. They built sturdy three-story houses. Their indoor drainage and plumbing systems were so advanced that many parts of Europe would not reach such standards for another several thousand years. Vibrant frescoes depict scenes of young boys boxing, spring flowers in bloom, and antelopes roaming free. The colors on these frescoes remain vivid, as if the artist had just set down their brush this morning. They reveal a community that cherished beauty and nature, living lives of immense grace. Looking at the massive clay jars, pithoi, used for storing wine and olive oil, still in their original positions, we can almost feel the bustling rhythm of life that once animated this city before the disaster struck. Akrotiri is a testament to human resilience. Though a volcano can erase a city, the will to live and the legacy of culture never truly disappear. They are merely stored by nature, waiting for future generations to rediscover and admire. Let us now leave the ancient ruins and face the raw, powerful reality of the volcano. We board a traditional wooden boat, cutting through the deep blue waters of the basin to reach Nea Kameni. In Greek, Nea Kameni means the new burnt island. This is a young volcanic island formed by continuous underwater eruptions over the last 2,000 years. Upon stepping onto the island, the landscape shifts abruptly. The snow-white lime vanishes, replaced by a world of pitch-black, jagged lava rocks and deep craters. The 20-minute hike to the summit is a small challenge for your legs. But the reward is priceless. As you ascend, you can feel the heat radiating from the ground beneath you. The pungent scent of sulfur fills the air, and wisps of white steam drift from cracks in the rock, proof that this volcano is far from sleeping. It is still breathing, a hot, forceful breath. From the peak of Nea Kameni turned 360 degrees, you are standing in the center of a colossal arena. Surrounding you are the towering cliffs of the main island of Santorini, Thracia, and Akrotiri. The white villages clinging to the cliff edges look like tiny grains of salt scattered in the distance. Before departing, do not forget to stop by Nea Kameni. The old volcano, to soak in the hot springs. Due to hydrothermal activity underground, the water in this small bay has a unique orange-red hue and stays 5 to 10 degrees Celsius warmer than the surrounding sea. The sensation of swimming in warm, mineral-rich water in the middle of the vast ocean is a soul-cleansing experience, a miraculous connection between humanity and the primordial energy of the earth. If there is one image that represents human adaptation in the face of adversity, It is the hyposkafo architecture of Santorini. In Greek, hyposkafo means built into a cave. Do not be quick to think of dark, damp hovels. Here, caves are masterpieces of light and form. Thousands of years ago, when impoverished locals, sailors, and farmers lacked the funds for expensive building materials, they did the unthinkable. They dug directly into the soft volcanic ash and pumice of the caldera cliffs. These houses have no foundations and no elaborate pillars. They rely on the very skeleton of the island to stand firm. This raw ingenuity is reminiscent of how people in far-off Siberia adapt to the permafrost. Building homes on tall concrete pillars to prevent heat from melting the ground. In Santorini, humans did not fight the volcano. They turned it into a home. Stepping into a cave house, you immediately sense the geological magic. The surrounding pumice acts as a giant natural air conditioner. In the middle of the fiery Greek summer, the interior remains startlingly cool. And when the winter storms roll in from the Aegean, the house remains warm and perfectly silent. But why white and blue? The white lime is more than just a symbol of purity. Originally, it was used as a natural disinfectant to prevent disease. While also reflecting the harsh sunlight to keep the homes cool. And the blue of the domes? It is the color of the sky and the ocean, a fierce declaration of national pride. Every edge of iposcafo architecture is softly rounded, devoid of harsh, straight lines. These curves seem to mimic the Aegean waves or the drifting clouds. When viewed from above, the houses stack upon one another like pieces of a giant puzzle, where one person's roof is another's balcony. This is not just architecture, it is a shared living space, a testament to community on a terrain where flat land is a luxury. Leaving behind the bustle of the cliffside towns, I bring you to Pyrgos Kallistis, situated at the highest point of Santorini. Pyrgos stands like an aging aristocrat guarding the island's oldest values. If Lhasa is the spiritual heart of Tibet with the towering Potala Palace, then Pyrgos is the symbol of Santorini's historical power, before Fira took the crown in the 19th century. Pyrgos was built as a castelli, a fortified village. The streets here are so narrow that two people can barely pass one another, and they are designed like a true labyrinth. The purpose? To confuse and slow down the pirates who frequently raided the Mediterranean in medieval times. Every step you take on the worn stone stairs of Pyrgos is a step back in time. Life here seems to stand still. You will find old Greek men sitting quietly by their doors, fingers trailing over komboloi beads, or women drying fava beans on weathered wooden trays. Pyrgos does not boast modern colors. It wears the hues of limestone, aged wood, and deep purple bougainvillea clinging to cracked walls. From the highest point of the village, where the ruins of a Venetian castle still stand, you can see the entire island unfold before you. A sense of ethereal freedom fills the mind. In Pyrgos, silence is not frightening. It is a purifying sound. It reminds travelers that behind the glitz of tourism, Santorini still has a humble corner where people live by memory and absolute respect for their ancestors. If you're looking for modern rhythm and electric energy, welcome to Fira, the capital of Santorini. This is where the island's energy is most concentrated. Fira is bustling with glittering jewelry shops, upscale restaurants, and bars that stay lively deep into the night. Perched at the central point of the caldera cliff, Fira offers a direct and breathtaking view of the two volcanic islands, Nea and Kameni. There are two ways to experience the sheer verticality of Fira. One is through the modern cable car system, which whisks you from the old port to the summit in minutes. The other is walking the more than 500 winding stone steps. On these steps, you will encounter the donkeys, the island's traditional transportation. Although machinery exists today, the image of these donkeys patiently carrying goods up the steep slopes remains a part of Santorini's soul. It is much like how camels cross the harsh paths of Tibet or zebu cattle assist in Madagascar. The donkeys in Santorini are a testament to the bond between humans and animals in extreme terrains. Fira is a fascinating intersection. On one side is the plunging, dark abyss of the volcano, and on the other is a life of peak luxury. As dusk falls, Fira puts on a glittering coat of thousands of electric lights, reflecting off the sea like shattered diamonds. This is where you see Santorini at its most vivid, youngest, and most pragmatic. Crossing the windswept coastal roads, we arrive at Oya, the crown jewel of Santorini. If Fira is a rush of energy, Oya is an exquisite poem. Located at the northern tip of the island, its cliffs are slightly gentler, but its architectural beauty reaches a level of supreme mastery. People often say, you haven't truly been to Santorini until you've touched the white walls of Oia. The houses here seem more meticulously tended, featuring the iconic blue domes that have become a global symbol. This is a haven for artistic souls, where art galleries hide in tiny alleys, and sunlight is worshipped like a deity. Oia is not just about architecture, it is about space. There are small squares paved in pristine white stone and tiny balconies, where you can sit for hours just watching white sails in the distance. On the Aegean Sea, the purity of Oia brings to mind the silent beauty of Lake Baikal when it freezes into a giant crystal. Both possess an ethereal quality that makes one feel small before the perfection of creation. In Oia, every square meter is a work of art. The luxury hotels here are designed so that every room is a private sanctuary carved into the cliffside. You will find yourself living within a legend, where the boundary between reality and dream seems to blur under the salty sea breeze. do not let the snow-white exterior of Santorini fool you into thinking it is a barren land. On the contrary, volcanic ash has left behind a priceless gift: soil incredibly rich in minerals. Under the scorching sun and sea winds laden with salt, the people of Santorini created a unique cultivation technique, caldera. Instead of growing grapes on high trellises, they weave the vines into low, basket-like shapes close to the ground. These baskets protect the fragile grapes from powerful winds and help them absorb moisture from the night mist. The only precious water source on this dry island. This resilient farming method mirrors the endurance of the Putorana snow sheep, surviving on the harshest rocky plateaus of Siberia. The product of this persistence is the Assyrtiko grape. Wine made from Assyrtiko has an unmistakable flavor, an explosion of minerals, a crisp acidity, and a hint of sea salt. Taking a sip of Santorini wine is like drinking the very essence of the volcanic earth. Beyond wine, Santorini is famous for tiny but flavorful cherry tomatoes and sweet fava beans. These crops require little water, growing instead on volcanic mist and the inner strength of the earth. In Santorini, cuisine is a symphony of minimalism and sophistication, where every ingredient tells the story of an arduous but proud survival. Santorini does not have the smooth golden sands typically found in the Mediterranean. Here, the ocean plays with the extreme colors of geology. First is the Red Beach, located near the Akrotiri ruins. This beach appears as a surreal painting, with vertical cliffs as red as blood. This color is the result of high iron content in the lava rock that has oxidized over millennia. When the contrast between the red cliffs and the turquoise water appears on a 4K screen, you will feel as though you are on another planet, perhaps Mars in the middle of the Earth. This fantastical coloration is reminiscent of the Kizil-Chin Valley in Altai, where minerals dye the hills red. Then there are the black sand beaches like Parissa and Kamari. The sand here is actually volcanic debris from ancient eruptions. The black color absorbs heat intensely, keeping the ground warm. Swimming at a black beach with jagged lava rock beneath your feet. You feel the powerful presence of the volcano right beneath the cool water. Santorini doesn't just show you beauty, it lets you touch the history of the Earth's formation. And now we come to the final chapter of Every Day in Santorini. A ritual that millions around the world long to witness at least once, the sunset at Oya. Around 6 p.m., the streets of Oya begin to fill. People claim their spots on the cliffs, on balconies, or simply stand quietly on the trail. All eyes turn west, where the sun begins its descent into the caldera. As the sun dips lower, a miracle unfolds. The lemon-yellow daylight shifts into a brilliant orange, then a mystical violet pink. The white houses of Oya suddenly become a giant canvas, absorbing the entire color palette of the universe. The space becomes so silent, you can hear the breath of the person standing next to you, much like the sacred stillness when prayer ribbons flutter in the wind in Tibet. In the final second, as the glowing red disk touches the sea and slowly vanishes, the atmosphere explodes. Thunderous applause rings out from every corner of the cliffside. People do not applaud for a performance. They applaud to honor the wonder of nature and to give thanks for another day on this beautiful island. It is a moment of absolute connection. Where all barriers of language and culture are erased under the eternal sunset. Our journey in Santorini is coming to a close. We have traveled from the volcanic ashes of the past to the luxurious banquets of the present. From the heat of Nea Kameni to the stillness of Pyrgos. Santorini is not just an island to be seen, it is a lesson in rebirth. It teaches us that from the most profound ruins and pain, beauty can still sprout and shine more radiantly than ever. This island does not strive for perfection. It is beautiful because of its ruggedness. Its jagged cliffs, and the resilience of the people who chose a volcano as their home. As you leave the island on a high-speed ferry, look back one last time at that crescent moon fading on the horizon. Santorini will always be a missing piece in the heart of every traveler. A reminder that this world still holds so many wonders waiting to be discovered. Like the mysterious lands of Siberia or the distant plateaus of Ali, Santorini will linger in your mind like a haunting melody, urging you to live and love more fiercely every day. Thank you for joining on this 4K journey. We look forward to seeing you in the next legendary land, where history and nature will write stories that never grow old.